So we're going to celebrate Easter all throughout this season of Easter up until the season of Pentecost. And yes, it is still Easter. So along those lines, we're going to be exploring some of the Easter stories as we have been. And today, the story takes us into a meal and a moment. A moment when the disciples basically eat with Jesus and experience something with the resurrected Christ that changes things for them forever. We're going to get to that in just a moment. But before that, let me ask you a question. It's a question that I posed this week on social media, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But here's the question that I want to pose to you. What's the best meal you've ever had, and why? So you can ponder that at your home right now. You know, you can probably lean over to somebody next to you if you've got folks next to you, or text somebody, let them know, like, you know, this was the best meal I've ever had. I mean, that's totally fine to do that. I can't control you anyway. You're not here, so I have no idea what you're doing right now. But think about that for a moment. The best meal that you've ever had, and why? Now, I'm going to share the best meal that I've ever had. I got a photo of it right here. These are chicken and waffles from the Metro Diner in Jacksonville, Florida. This is ridiculously good. The chicken is cooked perfectly. It's like fried perfectly. The waffles there are like the Belgian style. They're amazing. They're fluffy. That's strawberry butter that you see on top of that. And then there's this syrup that you pour over it that's got like this hot sauce, like a kick to it. Oh, it is so crazily good. And so the time that I remember eating that was with some friends, and it was one of those diners, drive-in, and dives places that was on that television show, and that's how I found out about it. And so we went there with some friends, and it was just one of those moments where everything just kind of clicked, and we were all just having the best time. So I started thinking this week about why that's so. Like, why are the best meals that we can remember the best meals that we can remember? There's a man by the name of Charles Spence, and he did a TED Talk some years ago. He is the head of the Cross-Modal Research Lab at Oxford University, which is a fancy way of saying that this lab studies how our senses interact. And so Charles Spence says that taste is really complicated. The way that we taste things is a complicated process. But the most important thing about why we remember meals that were memorable, and maybe even our favorite meal that we've ever had, is because how you experience your food is more than the ingredients. The company that you're with, the moment in time that you were experiencing, the state of mind, the environment. I mean, all those things are factors. Now, granted, if the food is awful, now you'll have a different kind of experience, a different kind of memory. But if the food is good enough, right, that it matters more in that moment of what is going on and how you're experiencing it, more so than the ingredients. So let me give you an example. So let's say that you go on vacation and you go to a place where, you know, maybe you're overlooking the beach, or you're in just an amazing place where you're experiencing a wonderful time, and you order dinner and you have this bottle of wine with dinner, and it's the most amazing bottle of wine that you've ever had. And so you think to yourself, I'm going to buy 3 bottles of that wine and I'm going to take it home. And so you do, and then you invite your friend over for dinner and you say, I've got this incredible wine that I can't wait for you to share. It's the best wine that I've ever had. And your friend tastes the wine, and you can see on their face that they're like, you know, I'm so glad you enjoyed that. But in reality, they're thinking to themselves, this is probably like a rosé that I could get at H-E-B for $9.99. You know, but it was the moment, right? And maybe you even tasted it and it doesn't taste the same. But it was that moment that made it important. And Spence also says that no one ever recalls a favorite meal as one where they were fighting with their family members or loved ones when they ate it. They don't remember those. In fact, there's a restaurant in Switzerland. It's a 2-star Michelin restaurant. It's called Denis. And the chef has an unusual way of setting up dinner service for the night. Everybody gets seated at the same time, and they all walk in, and the tables are empty, devoid of everything except for a tiny little plastic cow. And if you turn the cow over, it goes moo, right? You guys have played with those before, I'm sure. And so what happens is everybody gets seated and they're wondering, where's the food? What's going on? Why aren't there utensils? Where's my water glass? And then somebody picks up the plastic cow and turns it over and it goes moo. And then the next thing you know, everybody at every table is doing the same thing. And everyone's laughing and everyone's enjoying themselves with this little plastic cow. And that's when the first course comes out and everybody gets served, because the chef realizes that when people are enjoying themselves, the food tastes better. How you eat your food, how you experience that moment is more important than the ingredients.